Hi everyone, this is Knife22 here. I hope you guys are all well. And welcome to the next game of chess in the series. This game was played by me versus Queen Roma from India, rated 1188. And this game was very interesting. There was a queen trade early on, and I was down a piece, but I really enjoyed it because there was a lot of strategy involved, which means I collected some pawns, but eventually there was a very nice checkmate which came along here with just a knight and a pawn. My opponent got a bit boxed in. So it was very nice to see. It was 24 moves long. So e4, e5, f4, King's Gambit. My opponent plays knight c6, just a standard defense really. Knight f3, d6. I see this a lot from sort of 11 to 1300 players, quite a bit. Just to try and defend. Bishop c4, bishop to g4, just pinning down my knight, d3. And then he plays knight over to a5. And I think for a while, because basically when I played the move d3, I started to really block in my bishop, so knight a5 is exploiting this and forcing me effectively to get rid of my bishop. Obviously, if bishop to d5, pawn c6, and the bishop's pretty much stuck. So I go ahead and take on f7. My thinking behind this is that I can win the piece back. After king takes f7, I can play knight g5 check, and then on my next move take the bishop. But unfortunately, he did something else. Unfortunately, he did something else. After king takes, knight up to g5, I missed the move queen takes g5, taking my knight. So then after he takes back, I'm down two pieces. And then he goes ahead and takes my queen, and then I can, I can play check, I can castle with check, and then I can win back his bishop, which is what happened in the game. But unfortunately, yeah, I did miss that queen takes g5 move, and I'm now down a piece. So knight to e7, just developing. And now knight to c3, and I think my position is actually quite good in compensation for an extra knight which I lost, because I've got quite a few pawns. I've got a pawn majority over here, and I've got attacking chances, a lot of space on the king side due to my pawn on g5. So I think I'm okay if I'm honest. A6, a4, just aggressive on the queen side, and then he plays h6 to try and exploit my pawn. So I go up and play h4, and we have a trade here, so he's getting his rook activated by playing rook up to h5. This is double attacking on the pawn, but I knew that he wouldn't really take it, because if rook takes, then bishop takes, and pawn takes, then I win a pawn and material. So then b4, this is just attacking his knight, and the knight drops back to c6, and then I play my pawn up to b5, further attacking it. A takes b, knight takes b. So I'm getting this knight really well activated, and you'll notice that over the next few moves, this is really a knight which comes into play and wins the game for me. So he plays the knight down to d4, at which point I just actually play rook up to a2, just defending the c2 points, because there's not really anything else I can do about that. And then luckily I didn't want him to play knight takes b5 here, because I wouldn't be able to take back with the pawn. So that's definitely a tactic which I missed. Well, I saw it in the game, but I played rook to a2 a little bit too fast. Anyway, he didn't do that. He played c6, which allows me to take on d6. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and utilize this knight to the king side to try and checkmate his king, because if all the pieces were traded off and it went to an endgame, I would probably lose. So rook to b8 defends this pawn. And then I play rook over to f1. The main reason being is I want to get this rook utilized on the f file. Knight takes e2 is always possible, but it doesn't really do all that much, if I'm honest with you. And then he plays knight back to e6 here. I guess maybe he was thinking that we were going to play, c3 and attack the knight. But now I can play my knight into f7, and because he's attacking the pawn here, so I add another defender to it. This is actually quite a risky outpost for the knight because it's defended by the rook. So he could actually use a tactic like knight up to f5 to try and exploit this. But he didn't. He played knight back to g8. And I'm not really sure why, because this allows me to play knight takes e5 check. And the king's got to go back to h7. And from here I was just like, oh yes, because I can see a two-move checkmate from here. Which is g5 check, bishop's protecting h6. The only square that the king can go to is h8, and then knight to f7 is checkmate. Okay, so that was a very beautiful chess game. I think the main factor that happened is because he blocked in his king from going to the safe g8 square, which I couldn't have controlled. So that was a very nice game. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.